It is the final. We're Border Gavaskar Daily, the third and final day, I'm afraid to say, here at Adelaide, only because it's so fucking lovely here. I don't want to be anywhere but Adelaide during Test cricket. An eventful Test match that finished quicker than the one here between the teams 4 years ago. Adam Collins, Geoff Lemon, Morris Blackburn Lawyers, Cbus Super, more about them later, and the shades we're wearing. Geoff, 30 seconds, go.
Quite easy in 30 seconds. 29 runs behind when they resumed. India Rishabh Pant out first over of the day. Mitchell Starc got his edge, and then Cummins went short ball, bash, bash, bash at the tail. They gloved him up in the air here, there and everywhere. Ashwin, Rana, Reddy, uppercuts, made 40. Always makes 40. Likes making 40 at the end when it's fruitless or they're, as you like to say, punching the bruise. He gets out, and then Siraj pops one up to Travis Head off Scott Boland, and that's it. Australia needed 19 to win and knocked them off 10 wickets in hand.
Yeah, it's a nice cut shot there from Nathan McSweeney to bring up scores level. They took today 5 for 47 in 12.5 overs. Starc got the party started, nicking off Punt with his stock delivery, that one that shapes the way, but Punt having to restart after last night, playing into the Corbin, dismissed for 28, not adding to his overnight tally. Ashwin bounced out by Cummins. Rana bounced out by Cummins, albeit after a long stay at the crease with Reddy, who made 42 and was caught down at deep third. Kind of bounced out by Cummins, almost a miscue there. And the last man out was Siraj, taken by Head, much to the delight of the South Australian crowd, given the byplay between those two, which is absolutely going to come up in the Hall of Fame. We'll deal with that all later on.
Sure.
But yeah, Cummins ends up with 5 for 57. Starc 2 for 60, making 8 for the match.
Yep.
Scotty Boland 3 for 51, giving him 5 for the match. And Nathan Lyon at a ground where he has loved bowling more than anywhere else in the world, bowled one over for the whole match, which seems a crime really, but he's in an Australian winning team by 10 wickets.
And Starc, you thought, well, you know, he could be on for a 10-wicket match here. He's got the 8. Smith's taken the catch for the 8th and then drops the catch for the 9th.
Yeah.
And has he, you know, if he takes the 9th, who knows, good chance Starc goes on to get the 10th. But he didn't. He only got to bowl 5 overs this morning, so Cummins went to Boland pretty quickly, which I thought, you know, maybe they could have given him another over or so.
Back-to-back Test matches, yeah,
to see what's happening.
5 over spell when you're going to win anyway.
And, you know, and Boland just kind of did the Boland thing, which was be there and be available and take a helpful number of wickets.
Yeah.
When he's not being the star of the show, he's the consummate third seamer. He comes in, you know, he's your friend who clears up the empties at the end of the night at your house so you don't have to do it the next morning.
There was no jeopardy by the time Boland came on. It was all pretty easy breezy, to be honest, after that first wicket. It was at one stage improbable Australia would need to bat a second time, only really because Reddy continued to attack, albeit playing the milk to strike game. There was a marginal gain to be achieved there, I felt. If they got Australia to chase 30 or 40, they could have seen not only Khawaja, had they dismissed Khawaja, a second look at Labuschagne. Anyway, it doesn't really matter.
And McSweeney, if you get either of those for a low score, then...
And maybe Smith even. It's just more like there was something there about the bigger picture at play, given these back-to-back Test matches. And Australia were beaten by 295 runs last week. Khawaja hasn't got a score yet. Smith hasn't got a score yet. However, with all of that said, Australia were doing things on their terms. Cummins over the wicket, round the wicket, hostile fields. It was a reminder that when he needs to be, he can be brutal as well. And we've seen that periodically from him. But last week at Perth, none of that really worked when they went the short ball assault. So often it's about the match situation, whether that actually works or not. Here they were so far ahead again, just to repeat that point before, that it was a matter of time before some of those hit the shoulder of the bat. It was a great pitch. It was fast, bouncy, great carry the whole way through, lateral movement off the seam. It's just a shame that the test match has been wrapped up, you know, in 6.5 sessions.
That's the thing, is because there is enough bounce out of this surface. You saw the one that he got Punt with in the first innings that took off as well. So he was able to get that rapidity of bounce from this surface to make it uncomfortable. You do see Australia go to that short ball attack for the tail quite often, and sometimes it doesn't work, and it is sort of annoying when it doesn't work. Why are they always doing this, you know? And everyone gets mad and says hit the stumps, and I say that too at times when they stick with it when it hasn't worked for a while. But you know, on this occasion, India weren't scoring. It didn't really matter, and it didn't take very long for them to start to get the results. Yeah,
that's right. And when, you know, Pat Cummins was probably, for the first time in his Test career, there were questions about his actual bowling. I mean, I know he's been, at times, his captaincy's been questioned, and his belief in man-made climate change has been questioned, and the fact that he, you know, reads books has been questioned, and so on and so forth. Culture war shit, right? But very rarely has it been about Pat Cummins, the fast bowler. There was just a hint of that after Perth, and I probably said myself on the podcast that him not having played any multi-day cricket, it did feel like he was a bit tender, and that his pace might have been a little bit down. I did ask him about it before the second test, and he basically said that wasn't the case. But still, it was one of those talking points that lingered between Perth and Adelaide. Well, bloody hell, he weren't underdone this week. He was all over it. So I'm glad he got the reward of a 5-wicket bag. One of a slew of Australian bowlers who love sending it down with the pink ball. Ever since the very start of his international career, Cummins has loved bowling with the pink ball, and so it is for Stark, who's now got, 75 wickets? 75 with the pink ball. And it's not the pink ball test match here next year, as it turns out. They're playing the pink ball test at Brisbane because this is going to be the Christmas test, and they can't have the Christmas test at night because it'll overlap with the Big Bash, so that makes sense in a way, but it's also a bit of a shame because I know it's only 6.5 sessions, but gee, it was those first 2 days were about as exciting as it gets, really. And yesterday, 14 for
6 innings game.
Yeah,
just extend it.
14 for 380 yesterday.
Yeah.
Great that the series is level at 1-1. And there are World Test Championship implications that I'll bring you up to speed with in a sec.
Yes, well, I mean, just in terms of story, that's the great part, is that, if Australia go 2-0 down here, they're not coming back from that. There's less investment, less involvement in the remaining 3 test matches, because basically India just need to draw one of them and they'll retain and the trophy and all that kind of thing. So this keeps it interesting, it keeps it spicy, but I think there is, if you were on the pendulum that swung all the way to after Perth to Australia are absolute garbage, they're shit house, sack the whole team, rebuild from the ground up, then don't be on the pendulum that swings all the other way that says they're unbeatable, they're world champions, they can't be touched. Pink ball test match is a special case. You and I said the day after the Perth test, I'm pretty sure I said Australia will win in Adelaide. I have no doubt that will happen because of their experience in this format. And then this format goes away and they go back to what can often be a relatively flat one in Brisbane. Brisbane's become one of the easier batting pitches in the country a lot of the time. In the modern era that we're in, and Australia's bowling attack on surfaces that don't give them much is something that India have been able to master, and they showed that in Perth. So it'll be more difficult for Australia in Brisbane than it was here. Yeah,
there's going to be a lot of attention on the 22 yards in the middle at the Gabba in the build-up to the test. That's for sure. Just on the scrutiny question, interviewed Labuschagne after play, and he did an interview on television, and then he said the same line both to TV and to us, that everyone was saying we're the worst test team in the world.
I don't think anyone said that.
Well, first of all, no one did say that, but I thought it was an interesting insight to, the cool, calm, collected Cummins before the test, saying, "Oh, well, external noise, whatever.
We don't really.
We lost last week. We lost last week. We might win this week. That's cricket. That's a game
We've
between."
We've had our phones on flight mode for the last 10 days.
Yeah, but I think Cummins meant it when he's like, we lost last week, but we could win this week. It's that's the game. Labuschagne, I don't think was as phlegmatic as that. I think Labuschagne took a lot more of it to heart. He's obviously chuffed to bits that he's made these technical changes that he was talking about, meeting the ball in a different place to where he was meeting the ball last week. And there was some analysis on television about that, and he was building on that with us. But from a pure narrative discourse, if you like, perspective, Labuschagne saying that basically that they were under siege, and look, they were in some quarters, but. Your point's the right one, is that I think those who sack them all, hang them all and let God sort it out, are the people who, or the followers of the game who perhaps don't appreciate that the pendulum can swing as quickly as you're referring to there.
If they were under siege, is Mitchell Starc Steven Seagal? That's what I want to know.
No,
can he throw a cooking knife into a breadboard with incredible accuracy across the kitchen, get a bullseye every time? Maybe.
Well, we'll see.
Accuracy's never been his strongest point.
I wouldn't want to play. I wouldn't want to play that game when you've got the compass in your hand out and you're trying to get what you play at school.
Yeah. What do they call it? Something fingers.
Yeah, whatever it was. I wouldn't want Starkey doing that.
Fillet. Fillet.
It's essentially Russian roulette for children.
Knife Russian roulette.
Yeah. Anyway, but still, I just found that obviously from Labuschagne.
5-finger fillet.
That's interesting because he takes it on. He also mentioned how important his faith was, which he doesn't say that stuff too often.
George Michaels.
We know it to be true because he will occasionally do interviews about his Christianity, but he was on the front foot here saying, no, my faith helped me get through that week in believing that I am capable, I am worthy.
Okay.
And adding that to the technical side of things, where he made those adjustments, and he said himself he hit thousands of balls between the tests to bed down a couple of technical changes he was trying to make for Bumrah specifically, and he comes out the other side of it having played a role and made an important contribution to a crucial test, that term we both used before the test, wasn't it? The most important one that we could remember for about 6 or 7 years on home soil. Well, now they go to Brisbane, and they're in a much, much better place. But back-to-back test matches,
yes,
it's going to be fun.
Should we Hall of Fame? It kind of feels like we're there.
We're just about there. Let's go to the Final Word Hall of Fame, which is going to be brought to you, as ever, by Morris Blackburn Lawyers, number one plaintiff law firm in Australia.
Yep.
So Morris Blackburn Lawyers are in Adelaide right now.
Yeah.
I might find them.
Yeah.
I might seek them out.
Seek them out. Seek their advice.
And part of the reason I will seek them out this afternoon
Yep.
is that we can expand upon the Morris Blackburn Lawyers story as we move to Brisbane. I
Right.
feel like we've done a good job in the last month or 6 weeks
Yep.
of setting up the pins. Now we're going to knock them down. Now we're going to go into specificity.
Like Cara Honeychurch.
Like Cara Honeychurch in the
What was her name, wasn't
in
it?
the 30 bloody
10-pin
too
bowling
right. She
champ?
was the
Yeah.
Jason Dunstall of 10-pin bowling.
Yeah.
She never missed out. Of the one days when they play on the 10-pin bowling before the
It's a great name.
and the
Honeychurch.
and the skiffs as well, the 14-foot skiffs or whatever they were called. Prudential against Ella Bachet, the great rivalry of our times. So Morris Blackburn Lawyers, more detail coming your way, and we can tell you more about why they are the right law firm for you.
Yep.
Cbus Super, well, the policy problem that was there way back when, 40 years ago. Industry Super, a huge part of that story, and as it was with Cbus being there right at the very start, their 40th birthday this year, getting your super sorted out isn't just about like what happens tomorrow and the day after, it's what happens in 10 years or 20 years or 30 years, and making sure that you have a dependable, reliable income stream in retirement. Everyone in Australia has access to these things. Make sure you're one of them. cbussuper.com.au. Their 8.87% average return is not a reliable indicator of future performance in their MyFault Super default account.
There you go. You've done it. You've got there.
And Kabaddi.
Kabaddi, yeah, go to the Kabaddi. It's on the 28th of December. What else do I need to tell you?
We're going to go.
Apparently, Mike Wood, friend of the show, was messaging me to say that a lot of rugby league players were involved in a Kabaddi league, I think in the 90s.
Is that what they called it?
Now, I wonder what,
Bloody hell.
I mean, it must have been willing in there. It must have been, I don't know, there must have been tackles, there must have been, noogies, there must have been, like, hands everywhere.
What's
Who
that
knew
bloke
what was
who,
going on?
naturally, I won't say that.
Yeah, let's not, I know where you're going, but let's not. He knew
There's
where
that
he was
court-
going, and let's not as well.
There's that court document that got published in the Herald a few years ago.
No.
Blimey.
Let's
it's not that, though.
move away
AFL
from
players in Kabaddi, many of them training 2 times a week, so they're at the peak of their powers at
Yep.
John Cain. The great John Cain. John
The-
Cain
the-
Arena, 28 December. We'll be there. Are you going to be there?
This is the Indian contact sport where they just smash the living crap out of each other.
Second biggest sport in India.
Yeah, second
This
biggest
is going to be on
sport
TV in India. They've sold the rights, TV rights. It's a big deal.
Danny
Aussie rules
Morrison's
players.
probably calling it.
Probably.
Kabaddi, the double R's and the double D's.
I tell you what, Liam Shields playing. He was the good driver in heavy traffic,
yeah.
the Gary Ayres of his time.
That's,
I'm not sure if Gary Ayres will be there. I hope he is.
You've reached your Liam Shields limit. You're not allowed to mention Liam Shields on any podcast episodes
player.
for the rest of the month. I know, but 3 days in a row, we can't keep going back to him.
Okay.
Now,
Another play tomorrow.
Hall of Fame. What have we got?
The Hoff.
I liked the Hoff. Yeah. You liked that yesterday.
Yeah.
I've never called it the Hoff before, but
We're here
it
now.
does have an Australian cricket link. So, maybe it's too obvious. Maybe it eluded us for too long. The Reddy bit, we've been loving the Reddy, the roughen, the way he always makes 40 at the end, the way he whacks a few shots here and there. The uppercut, they've just put the deep third back.
Yeah.
He sees the short ball, he steers it, he hits it up in the air, and you don't get this on the replay. So if you watch the highlights, you won't notice this because the camera pans up to where the catch is being taken. But on the pitch, before the catch is taken, he smashes his bat onto the ground and ends up on his knees.
He's like,
Because
no!
Mendoza! As he whacks the bat to the ground, his head down, and then he looks up to see the catch completed, and then he goes head down again. Now, I don't know why he was quite that distraught. What did he think was going to happen? They were 19 runs up. Did he think he was going to put on another 180 with the last couple of wickets, and then Bumrah's going to bowl him out? Could have happened.
I admire the belief.
I don't think he was close enough to that happening to really be despairing about it.
I'm into it. I'm into the passion. I'm into the fact that, to the mean rate. What has he gone? 41, 38,
42,
41, 42.
He's
got the Greg Matthews thing going on.
6 sixes in his first 3 innings, I reckon.
Yeah.
He's got a 2, a 1 and a 3. Didn't hit a 6 today, did he? But he hit a few 4s.
I want him to bat number 6 for India. I'm not saying they should punt Rohit Sharma, by the way. In the comments, I don't want you to start saying you hate Rohit Sharma. I don't hate Rohit Sharma. I think over time...
He looked very uncomfortable
not that
night.
anyone's watching this, obviously.
Rohit did not. Well,
we all know there's about 12 people watching this because India lost. But Rohit... I saw Rohit in the dugout just then.
Yeah.
But Brat and I were there together. He was just sitting there on his own, contemplating life.
He looked so uncomfortable last night at the crease, though.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
and understandably,
he was
it's
tired.
tough, but
he was tired. He's got a newborn. He was knackered. Day-night Test cricket's not for new parents.
No,
is my suspicion. My Hall of Fame. Gotta love Mohammad Siraj. You've just got to. I mean, love might be too strong a word.
Maybe not.
You've got to enjoy his shtick. He went on television today on Star and accused Travis Head of lying after Travis Head took full responsibility for what happened, for his part of what happened. I think the narrative, or the chronology rather, has been out of skew, because I think what he's accusing, you know what, I can't be fucked explaining this. All I know is that I love the fact that Siraj called Travis Head a liar today after the two of them were having a lovely conversation in the middle.
Yes.
It's just going to continue. Pantomime villain stuff, more of it. It's great for the series, having this niggle between the teams. I'm not saying that it was an especially flattering episode yesterday, but it definitely added to the rivalry in the short term. I think we could all kind of step back and laugh at it as well, because it is a bit funny. The whole thing.
It's just, who cares? I mean, I've been on the record before saying, like, I don't really like sledging, but that's only because I find it boring and unoriginal, and when teams are just doing it non-stop. But you know, if someone occasionally says something, okay, whatever. Like,
what I will say for Travis Head
is,
if
someone occasionally gestures, okay, so.
So we interviewed Head before play today as well, and he was like, well, they don't really want to talk to me when I'm batting.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to engage them, right? Yeah. And Siraj is one of them who will talk to him.
Okay.
So is Ashwin,
okay,
right? But he can't get Bumrah to talk to him.
Okay.
So Bumrah's not giving him anything.
Okay.
And what he doesn't like is when they don't chirp him when he's batting, and then they chirp him when he's out.
Right.
He's like, come on, if you're going to do it all the time.
Okay.
Which I found.
What does Ashwin talk to him about?
Well, they were talking yesterday apparently about where he was setting up in the crease, and he said to Ash, I don't fucking know. I don't know. I'm just batting. I don't really know what I'm doing. Why would I know? I'm just a bloke hitting the ball. Part of Travis Head's enduring charm is that he's so self-effacing in those moments.
He's not an overthinker. I don't think you can accuse him of overthinking.
Oh, and the last one here is that Cummins nearly did. I mentioned before, there's that segment of the Australian community who will always hate Pat Cummins regardless, for reasons that we spelled out. He nearly did himself a really great PR job there by having Siraj dropped by Carey first ball. He gets him with a bouncer first ball, steered into the gloves, and he would have won a few PR kudos points in those Facebook groups. But there's that Facebook, and you know what? I'm not even going to give it the credence of saying what it is, but there's a group of footy fans, shall we say, thousands of people who just routinely rattle off racist comments, and they laugh at each other and they think they're brilliant. They really don't like Pat Cummins in that group.
Okay.
That group might have liked him a little bit more had that catch been taken.
Right, because they would have been stuck in a dilemma position of like wanting to be racist about a guy that Pat Cummins got out.
Exactly.
But also sort of being mad that Pat Cummins isn't racist enough.
Be more racist, Pat.
That's
the takeout story from this. Be more racist.
From
not
other
from
people.
Us, from others.
Please don't
from
confuse
others
that.
Who like 90s
Please
footy.
don't clip that one piece of audio.
No, don't clip that audio. We'll get in trouble. We'll get cancelled too. That's it, Jeff.
It.
We've got
the Sunnies. Where can people get the Sunnies?
Yeah. Sorry. Hey, it's working. People are buying these things. These are the ones that you've not worn yet.
No.
I can't remember what these ones are called. They're called the Flare. They're the Glenn Maxwell Flare.
Okay.
And these are the ones that are I don't know what these are called, but they're a bit smaller. I guess they're less Larry.
Okay.
But they're really good. And there's the ones that I wore yesterday. The casual version of them. I'll better give you
the Chapel Rowan casual.
I'll better give you the address. T20vision.com/final word. They're not. I expected these to be really, really expensive. They're not. That's the first thing to note. Go on the website, t20vision.com/final word. And in addition to not being wildly expensive like a lot of modern sunnies are, you're going to get a 10% discount through us. So you can do that ahead of Christmas. Buy them for yourself to either play in or just to wear. Like I've been wearing the casual ones all day.
Buy 12 pairs for your cricket team.
Yeah, exactly. Not a bad gift. Buy it for yourself. Do that thing. The link is in the show notes. Gift them to yourself.
Yep.
Give yourself some new sunnies.
Yeah.
Final Word Daily will be back in some form tomorrow. We haven't quite worked out what we're going to do yet, but there'll be a wash up because, behind the curtain here, there's always an embargo press conference for the following day because no one wants to come back on the day after a test match. That means there's always more to talk about the day after a test is complete, which will mean we'll get more insight from the Australian camp.
Travis Head and Mohammad Siraj might have dinner tonight. They might be photographed.
There's a decent chance they will.
Having at a sort of romantic spot, just
they'll be at the wool shed.
The fences.
They'll be on the tiles tonight.
Maybe Alex Carey will be mediating. He would.
He would.
It's perfect. Yeah, he'll be sitting between them saying, "Come on, guys, we're all after the same thing here. We all want inner contentment. We all want happiness. Does anyone need their socks folded? I will put them away. This is it.
This has been the Final Word, Border Gavaskar Daily. We love the people that support us. We love our patrons, patreon.com/the Final Word. They've been with us from the start. Live show in Brisbane on the 12th. Only 4 days away.
Harsha
Bogle. 2 nights before the test. Harsha's with us. Link in the show notes. Come to our live show. Harsha on stage is the best kind of Harsha Bogle. Our great mate will be with us in a few days, as will this competition again, the Border Gavaskar. Good night or good afternoon. Bye-bye from us. Ta-da. This is like we're saying goodbye at the end of a conversation. You know, no,
you hang up first.
You hang up first. No, you hang up first.
We'll see
you hang up first.
Okay, bye.
You hang up
Okay,
first.
bye. Okay,
bye.
okay,
Bye, Mum. Bye.
Love you.
Bye. 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 Bye.